who are anxious to improve their circumstances, but unwilling to improve themselves. They therefore remain bound. James Allen. Why are we unwilling to improve ourselves? Is it because deep down inside, we have a fear of risk and failure that is so great, we will do anything possible to prevent it? Or maybe it's the fear of the unknown. We compose a narrative on why we haven't done certain activities. We tell ourselves this because it's easier to manage the fear of the unknown if we use our subjective thoughts to justify an imagined outcome. We're comfortable dealing with familiar problems rather than new, unfamiliar ones. Yet when you dream of your future and your goals, it's filled with principles that are not currently present in yourself. And then we tell ourselves, I wish, a contradiction towards fear. After all, being successful is something only attained by the few who just get lucky. You all know who I'm talking about. All these individuals had the proper upbringing. They were privileged, wealthy, and knew all the right people. They were destined for success. We compare ourselves to other people and conclude that we are either insignificant or not as gifted, embodying jealousy into our core. And from this point, we continue forward, looking at the life ahead of us. And then we ask ourselves, why must this continue this way? Why must I do this? What you've been taught to think and understand about failure and success are actually undermining your development and what you seek to attain later in life. Because of this, we have a negative stereotype of success and failure. Events occurred in my life that would shape everything about me. Growing up, I had a significant event that took place in my life. When I was 7 years old, I lost my father. He was a self-made man and the only individual I know to finish an electrical engineering degree in 2 years. Why did this have to happen to me? I couldn't believe it. Why was this happening now? Having such an extreme event that occurred to me at such a young age transcended to all parts of my life. I would spend the next years with doctors and counselors, and I understood that I was different from everybody, and I didn't like it. When I started school, I could barely read and struggled severely with math. I was a below average student and required countless amounts of extra attention from tutoring and teachers. My classmates labeled me as that guy. It didn't help. For the next 10 years, I went to school with the same 10 people, the same 25 people. No matter what I tried to do, it was always the same result. I lacked self-confidence, self-esteem, and was prone to bullying because of my academic shortcomings and my short stature. When I got to high school, I almost nearly lost my mother at the age of 16. I kept to myself mostly, still prone to bullying. It didn't matter if I was a gifted runner in high school. My peers didn't deem me as an athlete. I graduated from high school and went to college like mostly everybody else did. Things were fine until this happened. When I failed out of school, I wrote it off completely and searched for a new path back home. My father, by trade, was a well-known electrical contractor in my hometown. I applied for an electrician apprenticeship and was rejected. I would then move to Miami and Chicago, and around this time I decided I was ready to get back in school. I applied once again and was rejected. I had moved across the country and found myself back in my hometown. People were right. I was a failure. I couldn't make anything of myself. At 22 years of age, I had absolutely nothing to show for my life. I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I realized if I didn't change what I was doing, I wasn't going to get the things I wanted out of life. I became fearful of my future, and I started asking myself these questions. Why was I in this position, and what do I want to leave behind when I'm gone? See, my biggest fear is being on my deathbed and not having accomplished all the goals I set out for myself today. Understand that time is your most valuable asset. Money can always be recuperated, but time, once it's spent, you can never get it back. What you choose to do with it is entirely up to you. I began searching for something. I needed a way out of my dead-end job and environment. I had put up with way too much stuff in my life to end up here. It wasn't possible for me. A unique opportunity came my way. I was interviewed by this organization several times and would be offered a position. When I found out about this, I immediately accepted. I told my mother about how great this organization was, and she didn't seem too happy about it. I really wasn't sure why. She wasn't too fond of this. My first day of boot camp was January 12th, 2009. The first thing I did when I got there was step on some yellow footprints. And then some drill instructors kindly explained to me what their expectations were. I couldn't believe how nice everybody actually was. They weren't too fond of my clothes or my haircut, so they gave me all new clothes and decided to shave my head. They made me do everything over and over again until I got it right. In their eyes, failure was not an option. Here's a picture of me before and during boot camp. Here's the end result. Thank you. I learned an extensive amount of skills by joining the Marine Corps only because of the great effort I put into this organization. And from that, I was able to get a lot in return. Whatever effort you put into something is what you're going to get out of it, and that applies to all aspects in life. Joining was not an easy decision. I would give up spending time with my family and watch my nephew grow up through a computer screen. It taught me, though, that in order to attempt to do great things, there's some form of sacrifice or change of character required. Because in order to attain new levels, you have to be willing to do things you haven't done before. If you're unwilling to improve on yourself and sacrifice for that, don't expect to get far. I no longer live a life guided by fear and doubt. These two words kept me from doing many things growing up as a child. I would often tell myself I can't, or make every excuse in the book. I no longer run from fear, I chase after it, because I'm a Marine. The quarterdeck. You get exposed to the physical and mental rigors of training every day. They make you extremely tired, wear you out, and make you want to quit. Sometimes this wasn't enough. If you or another individual failed to meet the standard of a task or situation, you would be sent to the quarterdeck for some additional calisthenics at any moment's notice. This would mean more fatigue, and tomorrow would be more difficult. However, something happened with those individuals who spent a lot of time on the quarterdeck. They became stronger, and they became more resilient. No one wanted to go to the quarterdeck, but everyone did go to the quarterdeck. You're going to fail, and you're going to do it often. It will be painful. It'll test you to your last moral fiber, and you'll want to quit. But if you want to be successful, don't fear the quarterdecks in your life. Teamwork. I came to understand that people don't become successful by themselves. It requires the work and help of a team of individuals to reach a goal. Understanding how to work well with others from different ethnicities, gender, creed, is absolutely vital in today's society. During boot camp, everything is a team mentality. There is no such thing as I, only this recruit. The people you work with will become your family. They will challenge you daily, give you constructive criticism, guidance, and of course, watch your back. The environment that is created from this strives for excellence in all aspects of your life because it's encouraged and it benefits everyone. It encouraged me to start doing a lot more. I started taking classes again online for college. I began volunteering. And for really the first time in my life, I started to read consistently every day. This is when I was first exposed to personal growth and development and realized how important it is in your life. Much like this trait. Know yourself and seek self-improvement. Take the time to assess your strengths and weaknesses. Be honest with yourself. If you're unsure, ask several individuals whom you have different relationships with. Successful people continuously seek improvement in their lives because if they don't, they will be left behind. Persistence. This is a virtue that must be experienced firsthand. How long can you sustain a devoted effort to something when things go wrong is a true test of someone. You see, despite all the obstacles and challenges of my life growing up, I had a choice to make. I could have allowed myself to forever be a victim of my situation. Or instead, I challenge it and harness the terrible things of my past, using it as my fuel to launch me and make it my story. Someone else's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. The self-discipline I acquired during my time is what I'm most thankful for and has had the biggest aspect on my character and my career. However, there's a big difference between discipline and self-discipline. One is external and one is internal. However, we use these words interchangeably every day. Anyone can show discipline in their life. However, self-discipline is an entirely different story. Do the right thing when no one is watching. C.S. Lewis. In your free time, who is there to guide you with the choices you make that hinder or benefit success? What are you doing by yourself? Do the words you use match your actions, what you do alone? Everyone wants to be successful until it comes time to do successful people things. The only difference is that most people allow their everything else in their life to get in their way with activities that don't add value. What if I told you that the real growth in your life does not come from an academic environment as such, but how you spend your time outside of this environment? In my free time, I helped create 4 businesses that would all eventually fail over a matter of 6 years. My last endeavor destroyed my credit, nearly cost me $100,000, and almost filing for bankruptcy. Despite this, I do not let it bother me. See, failure should stand for feedback. People are not failures, only situations. When you have a failure, you should ask yourself these 2 questions. What can I do differently next time? And how can I prevent this from occurring again? See, your greatest success is to keep risking failure, because it only takes one time to get it right. Les Brown once said that the cemetery is the wealthiest place on earth. Here it is that you will find all the hopes and dreams that were never fulfilled, the books that were never written, the songs that were never sung, the inventions that were never shared, the cures that were never discovered. All because someone was too afraid to take that first step, keep with the problem, or determined to carry out their dreams. Whether or not you decide to live up to your dreams and goals is entirely up to you. However, this choice is selfish. By doing this, you deprive the people in your life the opportunities and experiences to grow as well. Take time and invest it back in yourself. You are your most valuable asset, and only you knows yourself as best as yourself. Persistence, sacrifice, and self-discipline are only 3 of the learnable traits that produce success. Failure is not part of the problem, it's part of the solution. I'll leave you with my parting words. Thank you.